Hi, my angels, and welcome back to another video. Now, this might just be one of the most important manifestation videos that I ever make because I think this is the piece that a lot of people miss. Now, especially if you are someone who understands law of assumption, you've read all the Neville collections, you know your thoughts create, you know self-concept matters, and you know you're supposed to live in the end. But somehow you still feel like, why am I not getting what I want? Or why do I keep spiraling? Why does my manifestation feel so close one day and absolutely impossible the next? Now, I want to break this down in a way that is practical, law of assumption coded, and nervous system friendly. Because manifestation is not just thinking positively, it's not just repeating affirmations until you literally can't think anymore. It's not just pretending you're okay while your body is screaming that you're not. Manifestation is identity work. Now, Neville Goddard said with his famous quote, change your conception of yourself and you will automatically change the world in which you live. He also taught that an assumption, if persisted in, hardens into fact. So the question is not just, what do I want? The deeper question is, who am I assuming myself to be? And can my body, behaviors, and emotions actually hold that assumption without collapsing back into the old story? Now, this is what I have been studying so much with my clients lately. I have had clients who know exactly what they want. They want the specific person, they want the relationship, they want the money, they want the business, they want the body type, they want to feel chosen, they want to feel secure, all the beautiful things that we desire. But when we look at the actual pattern, it is not that they don't want it enough or that they just haven't saturated their subconscious mind with it enough. It's genuinely that their subconscious mind is still associating this desire with a form of danger. So consciously, you might come to me and say, I really want love. But subconsciously to you, love might mean being abandoned. Love might mean being cheated on. It could mean being criticized. It could mean being replaced, maybe waiting, maybe proving or competing. Maybe love to you means losing yourself or your freedom because the experiences that emotionally impacted you or the things that you observed that caused an emotional reaction is now your definition of that thing. So then when you're affirming, I am chosen, your body is still scanning for the moment that you won't be. And that is exactly where people think manifestation is not working, but it is working. It is just your old identity and your subconscious programming is actually running the show. So, I want to give you some key pieces that I believe every single manifestation tends to move through. So, you can go ahead, open up your notes app, or get a notebook to write this down because I'm going to be giving you the step process that you go through when manifesting. So, the very first one that I will talk about is we're going to identify the old story. You want to make sure in step one, you are identifying the subconscious blocks and any contradictions that are popping up while you are manifesting this thing. Number two is becoming that new identity and seeing what exactly the stories are that you're going to want to make personal and program into your subconscious mind. And then level three, we have you maintaining the state when the 3D pokes at that old wound. So before we even talk about manifesting your desire, I want us to talk a little bit about your mind because one of the biggest reasons that I see you struggle with law of assumption is you are trying to change your reality with the wrong part of your mind. You are trying to consciously think your way into a life that was subconsciously programmed, and those are not the same thing. So you have the conscious part of your mind. This is the part of you that thinks, you analyze, you problem solve, you choose, you compare, you plan. It says, I want the relationship, I want more money, I want the business, I want to be chosen, I know I deserve better. That is going to be your conscious mind. And your conscious mind is so very powerful, but it is only part of the equation. This is where your subconscious mind is a little bit different. because your subconscious mind is the part of you running your automatic beliefs, your emotional reactions, your identity, your habits, your body responses, your attachment patterns, your expectations, and what feels normal to you. So it is the part of you that doesn't ask, what do I want logically? It is asking, what have I learned is safe? What have I learned to expect? And what pattern has kept me alive and surviving? So, this is where it genuinely gets interesting because long before you had the ability to logically analyze your life, your brain was already learning. Early in life, your nervous system and your brain were constantly mapping out what gets love, what gets rejected, what gets attention or validation, what gets punished, what creates conflict, what creates safety. And these questions were not answered through logic. It was answered through repetition, through emotion, through observation, through survival. So that's why you can consciously say, I really want this healthy relationship. But subconsciously, you're still reacting. When are they going to leave me? Who else are they talking to if they're not talking to me? Why haven't they texted? What if I'm not good enough? Because your conscious mind may really, really, really want love, but your subconscious may have learned that love equals abandonment. Love equals inconsistency. It equals betrayal. It equals having to perform. So if your subconscious associates your desire with pain, it may start to resist it, self sabotage, over monitor, avoid completely, or even over control the very thing that you're saying you want. So this happens when your mind is doing exactly what it was designed to do, which is protect what feels familiar, even if this thing that is familiar hurts you. So, this is why so many people in manifestation say, but I swear I'm doing everything right. And I believe you. I know you're affirming, you're visualizing, you're scripting, you're reading all the right things, you're saying all the right words. But if all of that is happening consciously, while your subconscious still holds an old emotional blueprint, you are basically planting new seeds in old soil. So, this is exactly why Neville said feeling is the secret, because it's not about forcing or obsessing or repeating words while you're just absolutely panicking underneath it. You're feeling it. Because what the subconscious mind accepts as emotionally real, the body starts to normalize that. And what the body normalizes eventually always reflects in your reality. So your brain is constantly trying to predict what comes next based on past experiences, not just what is presently happening. So, not all memories that are stored in your body are story memories. Some are body memories. It can be tension, shutdown, the urgency, this people pleasing, hypervigilance. And the part of your brain, the amygdala, is going to help flag potential threats. And love, money, visibility, conflict, or intimacy got linked with pain somewhere in your experiences. Your system is probably going to react before your logical mind can even catch up to it. So, yes, the brain can absolutely change, but repetition plus emotional safety linked with new experiences and observations is what truly helps wire new patterns. So, it's really not that you are just failing at manifestation. You are just trying to change this subconscious programming with conscious effort alone. So, this is why I want to break this down to you in a 3-step process. And that way, maybe you can get a different perspective as to why this manifestation process may have been a little daunting for you. So, let's go ahead and start with level 1. Okay. Level 1 is what I call identifying this old connection. So, this is where a lot of people end up when they first come across manifestation. They want to just dive right into the affirmations, the techniques, and pull in this beautiful thing that they're calling in. But a lot of times we skip over the root and we try to affirm over this wound and these beliefs that are already developed. So, I'm not against affirmations. I love affirmations. I give my clients affirmations all the time. But if you find yourself saying, I'm loved, I'm chosen, I'm so secure. Your subconscious mind is now holding a memory that says love equals abandonment. You're going to feel like you're fighting yourself. And that's genuinely because you are. Because feeling something does not just mean emotion, it means inner knowing. It means the felt sense of reality. It means what your body and your subconscious mind have accepted as true. So, right now, I want you to be very honest and I want you to ask yourself, what have I emotionally learned this desire means? So, if you want love, what did love mean growing up? Did love mean inconsistency? Did love mean walking on eggshells all the time? Did love mean being chosen and then dropped? Did love mean being compared? Did it mean chaos? Did it mean that you had to be this perfect little angel in order to be kept? Okay. If you're manifesting money, then what did money mean for you? Did money mean stress? Did it lead to arguments? Did it mean survival? Did it feel like guilt? Did money mean that there's just genuinely never enough? Okay. Be honest here with yourself. Now, if you want visibility in any way as well, what did being seen mean? Did it mean judgment? Did it mean rejection? Did it mean you're going to be misunderstood? Did it mean that people were going to project onto you? Because your conscious mind can say all day long, I want to be seen, I love attention. But if your subconscious mind says being seen is unsafe, you're going to find yourself hiding, delaying, overthinking. Maybe you're deleting every post or deactivating every other week, or convincing yourself that you're just not ready yet. And then you're going to call it procrastination, but really it's protection. So, this is what I see with clients all the time. They say that they want the relationship, but every single time the person gets closer, they're getting movement, their nervous system immediately starts clocking for what could go wrong. You say that you want the business, but every time you start receiving the attention or getting booked, you're shrinking. You'll say that you want clients, but then when someone's genuinely interested in your work, you might start doubting your value or even comparing it to someone else in the same niche field as you. So when you're saying you want the healthy love, but then when love starts feeling calm and secure, your body's like, this is boring. Or, like it's unsafe. It feels unsafe because it's not familiar. Okay. So level one, I really want you to understand it's not about blaming yourself or anything else outside of you. It's about just finally understanding yourself because you are patterned and patterns can be changed. So this is why I am genuinely so big on revision, because from a scientific point of view, it's pretty close to what memory reconsolidation is. When an emotionally charged memory is reactivated, new emotional information can change how it's stored going forward. And it's not magic, but definitely brain plasticity doing little elegant renovations on yourself. Okay. So when you look at it though, from a conscious point of view, Neville said, the purpose of revision is to awaken in man the spirit of forgiveness. And this is exactly why I am so big on revision, because we're not pretending that the past didn't happen or spiritually bypassing or lying to ourselves to make us feel better delusionally. It's because your subconscious mind does not change through logic alone. It changes through repetition, it changes through emotion and imagination of what feels real to you. So if your subconscious mind originally learned that love, money, visibility, success, or even safety through an emotionally charged experience, then healing happens when we create new emotionally charged experiences internally. So this is why I truly guide my clients through revision meditations, because if your body learns that love means abandonment, we don't just affirm over that, we're going to go back to the root. We find the memory, we find the moment, the environment, the version of you that made a decision. And we work together to rewrite it, to stop your nervous system from living like it's still happening, especially when you're triggered. Because your subconscious mind does not just respond to facts, it responds to what feels emotionally real. It was imprinted based off what you observed or what experience you had with an emotional intensity. So when that emotional charge around the old memory changes, your identity then changes. Your nervous system changes, your assumptions change, and eventually your reality changes. So that is level one. Now, level two is becoming the new identity. So, this is where the law of assumption comes in so deeply, because Neville did not teach just wish for it. He taught living from the end. He taught assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. He taught that your consciousness is what actually gets objectified. So, in simple terms, you do not wait for the 3D to tell you who you are, you choose who you are, and the 3D eventually confirms it. But here is where people get confused because they think that living in the end means pretending that absolutely nothing bothers them. No, no. Living in the end means you stop giving the old story more authority than your chosen identity. You have to stop living your life like you were in a waiting room. Okay, the security that you are placing on the external is an illusion. This is why so many people will have the money or the relationship. Maybe you're getting movement, but that void that you felt is still there. And you don't feel fully safe and you don't feel fully secure in what it is that you have, even if you may have obtained these things. So, if your desire is secure love, the question now becomes, what would I believe if secure love was normal for me? This is where the affirmations specifically need to be unique to you. I would believe I'm easy to love. I would believe love is safe. I would believe I don't have to chase to be chosen. I would believe someone can desire me and still have their own life. I would believe silence is not rejection. I would believe that I'm not competing with anyone for a spot in their life. And then ask yourself, what would I expect? Would I expect abandonment? Would I expect hot and cold behavior? Would I expect to be disappointed? Or would I expect consistency? Would I expect someone coming in and showing up for me? Would I expect them to want to repair whatever I feel is broken? Would I expect honesty? Would I expect to be treated well? Then ask yourself, how would I react? Because your reactions reveal your state. So if your specific person doesn't text you for a few hours, do you immediately become the abandoned version of you? Do you check their following? Do you start stalking? Do you spiral? Do you start creating fake conversations in your head? Or do you regulate and say, I am safe. I am chosen. I don't need to make this mean something about myself or my manifestation. That is the identity exchange. You are simply exchanging the version of you who needs proof for the version of you who is the proof. You are exchanging the version of you who chases for the version of you who receives. You are exchanging the version of you who spirals for the version of you who self soothes and self regulates now. You are exchanging the version of you who assumes the very worst for the version of you who assumes the wish fulfilled. And this is why manifestation is not magic. It is an identity exchange. You are not begging life to change. You are simply becoming the version of you who no longer agrees with what once limited them. Because self concept is not just about becoming this confident, oh, I'm so hot, who cares about anyone else? No, that is not what self concept is at all. It is made up of a very few things, okay? It's going to be what you believe, what you expect, how you perceive yourself, how you perceive others, what you focus on, how you react under pressure, and what feels emotionally normal because a lot of people will say, I really want this healthy relationship. But at the same time, you still believe men leave, people cheat, I'm hard to love, I always get replaced, love in today's society just doesn't even exist. That is contradiction. Some people may say, I'm so ready for abundance, but then expect, well, no one's going to book. Money is so hard. People can't afford me. My work environment is so toxic. I just can't grow. That's contradiction. Some people are going to say, I really trust my manifestation, but then one text delay, one low view post, one quiet day, and now you're spiraling. That is contradiction, and that contradiction is going to create a distortion in your identity and a distortion in your reality. So, level 2 is about alignment. It is making your beliefs your focus, your reactions, your expectations, and your emotional baseline all tell the same story. That way, you're not operating from, oh, well, I hope it works, but of course it's working. You're not coming from, where is it? You're coming from, I know who I am. You're not saying, oh, I feel safe when it comes. You're saying, no, I feel safe. And because of that, it comes. That is the shift. That is you occupying the state, and that is you becoming. So that is the second level. Now, the third final level and step that I do talk about is maintaining the state when the 3D pokes at your old wounds, because this is where most people fall off. Because anyone can feel confident after meditation. Anyone can feel chosen when their SP's texting them. Anyone can feel abundant when they have a certain stream of money coming in or they just got a large amount. Anyone can feel secure when the 3D is acting right. But the real work is, who are you when the 3D has not caught up yet? Who are you when they have not texted yet? Who are you when a bill comes out of nowhere? Who are you when that client last minute cancels and it was one of your biggest money things for the month? Who are you when someone triggers that old wound? Because this is where I've been watching the client patterns so closely. Because a lot of you are not failing because you don't know enough. You're struggling because you can't maintain that new identity long enough for it to feel normal for you. You're affirming for 20 minutes and then you're spending 10 hours checking the old story. You're saying, oh, I'm chosen, but then you're stalking the third party. You're saying money loves me, but then you're panicking every time money moves. You're saying, oh, my business is so successful, then make maybe a video that flopped, mean you're failing. And I say this genuinely with so much love because I've done it too. I've done it too. But this is why the nervous system matters. Because if your body does not feel safe in this new identity, it will keep dragging you back to the old one. Because the old identity is familiar and the brain loves familiar, even if it hurts you. Because the 3D is not giving you instructions, it is giving you feedback. So maintaining that state looks like this. When you are getting triggered, pause. You do not have to immediately react. You do not immediately text. You don't have to go immediately check. You don't immediately decide that the manifestation is not working. You ask yourself, what story did my body just enter? What am I making this mean? What do I need right now? Who would I be if I already had what I wanted? What would the secure version of me genuinely do right now? And sometimes the answer is not go affirm harder, okay? Sometimes the answer is, babe, take a breath. Go for a walk, do some tapping, cry it out, journal it out, go to a rage room, eat anything, sleep, drink some water, hydrate yourself, get off social media, come back to your body, because the goal is not to become a robot, okay? The goal is to become regulated enough to choose the new story. That is how you persist. Persistence is not repeating words while panicking underneath. Persistence is returning to the chosen assumption again and again until it becomes your home, until you become your own safe space for yourself and have the ability to now hold your desire. Because Neville's saying that if persistent, it's going to harden into fact. He wasn't saying be desperate. Persistence is genuinely devotion to this new identity. So let's make this really practical for you. If you are manifesting love, especially a specific person, I want you to ask yourself, what did my subconscious mind learn love means? What old memory or pattern am I still using as evidence? What am I afraid will happen if I actually receive the love that I want? Do I feel safe being chosen? Do I feel safe being pursued? Do I feel safe being seen fully? Do I feel safe not chasing and not having complete control? Okay. Then, based off of those answers, create your new identity. I am chosen without performing. I am safe to receive consistent love. It feels so good in my body. It feels so natural for me. I do not have to compete anymore. I don't have to chase because I know I'm so easy to love and love is safe for me now. Then maintain that. When the 3D gets quiet, I don't collapse. When an old fear comes up, I don't crown that as my truth. When my body gets activated, I regulate before I react. When the old story is calling me, I don't answer because the version of me who has it would not keep auditioning for it. And this is going to apply to anything you are manifesting. So if you're manifesting money right now, what did I learn money means? Stress, survival, conflict, guilt, instability, greed. Then shift that identity. Money is safe for me. Money supports me. I can receive it without panic. I can hold more without losing myself. I can be paid well for being myself. And then you maintain that. When money leaves, I'm not calling myself broke. When clients are quiet, I don't decide that my business is failing. When the 3D is fluctuating, I'm not abandoning the identity. I return back to my natural home assumption. I return to the state. I return to who I said I was. Okay? So this is the part that I really want you to understand. Your desire is not asking you to become perfect. It is asking you to become available. It is asking for you to allow it into your life. It wants you to be available for love without self-sabotage. It wants you to be available for money without panic, available for visibility without always hiding yourself, available for all the success without guilt, available for the new life without dragging the old identity into it, because you cannot emotionally live in yesterday and expect reality to deliver to you tomorrow. So if you feel like your manifestation is not moving, I don't want you to immediately ask, well, what technique am I missing? Am I doing it wrong? Maybe I'm not doing it enough. What's wrong with me? I want you to ask, what identity am I still protecting? What old story still feels safer than my desire? What version of me am I genuinely afraid to release? Because sometimes your manifestation is not blocked. It's not this big thing that you think. Sometimes it's just waiting for you to stop identifying with the version of you who couldn't hold it. And I say this all the time. Manifestation is not this big magical like woo woo thing. It can feel like that when you first get introduced to it, but then you realize how powerful you are. It's simply just an identity exchange. You give up the old story, you give up your limiting beliefs, you give up this emotional addiction you have to checking and control, you give up the assumption that it's not working, you give up the version of you who needed pain to feel familiar. And in return, you actually receive the reality that matches who you've become. So your work this week is very, very simple. I want you to pick one desire: love, money, business, body, your confidence, whatever it is. And I want you to ask yourself, what is my conscious definition of this desire? And what is my subconscious association with it? Then you're going to write out the new identity, not just affirmations that sound super cute. Okay. You're going to make identity statements that are very personal to you, that feel like a home you are moving into. And then when the 3D pokes at you, practice staying, practice returning, practice regulating, practice choosing, because your desire is not separate from you. It's your desire that is laid on your heart for a reason, okay? So if you take nothing else from this video, I want you to remember this. You have different levels when it comes to manifesting. You're going to identify your old story. What did your mind, your body, your nervous system actually learn this desire means? Then level 2, you're going to become the new identity. Not when the 3D changes, not when they text, not when the money hits, not when the clients book, right now. Right now. You're going to commit to yourself. You're going to devote yourself to this, okay? And then level 3, you're maintaining the state. So when life pokes at that wound, because your triggers are not always a punishment, sometimes they're just showing you where that old identity still thinks it's in charge. And if you can catch that old story, you can regulate your body and you can return to who you choose to be. That is persistence. That is embodiment. And that is law of assumption. And that is how assumptions harden into fact. Okay. It's not out here playing hide and seek with you. It's not testing you. It's not making you prove yourself. It's calling you into the version of you who can simply hold it. Okay. So I know you guys can do this. And I want you to understand that that version of you is in every single moment you stop abandoning yourself. That is the work. That is the exchange. That is the manifestation. Okay. So I hope you gained so many aha moments from this video, and I will see you soon. Until next time, my loves.